I think we want to hear from a French perspective to start with. Tell us how things are in France at the moment.
Well, France is obviously in shock and in mourning. Today was a national day of mourning. I've been in London over the last couple of days, but I have, as many French people, have been inundated with messages and a lot of emotion coming in. I think that you cannot minimize the importance of these events and this attack for French people. It happened in the center of the capital. Nobody would ever have expected such an outrageous attack.
This is horrific, but if you think about the context, it's unsurprising. Because what Steve and I do, and what our murdered colleagues and comrades in Paris did, is, I believe, a fundamentally human thing. It's the way we mock, it's the way we make life bearable by laughing at all the things around us, including people who want to make everybody the same as them, including leaders. Just like we laugh at sex and death and shit and all the other things that make our lives unbearable unless we laughed at them.
I don't think it's just about free speech. So, I mean, I do believe that we start off with the base that we believe in free speech. We think that it's the standard that we should all subscribe to, and that we should be for allowing people to be blasphemous. But was the attack on Charlie Hebdo just about free speech? Now, I just want to take off my journalist hat for a second and put on my counter-terrorism hat. And you think to yourself, extremist Muslims get angry about insults directed towards their prophet. But what they get angry more about is, I think, insults the fact that there's a lot of Western Muslims who are integrating into Western society, and they don't want to see that because that annoys them and it goes against what they want. So they want, in fact, they need a clash of civilizations to not only bolster their arguments, but also to create what they want to create, which is a Sharia state.
I do wonder what kind of culture we're going to have after this. This isn't just one attack. This is a mass murder. It's not hyperbolic to say that. I fear, are we going to have a frightened culture with lots of no-go areas, which concedes huge amounts of ground to enormously reactionary, misogynist, homophobic, racist forces? Or are we going to fight back? And that, to me, and build something better out of it? And that, to me, is a question that's still very much up in the air.
It's really important for us. I'm an atheist, so I don't have any religious belief, but I think it's really important that we understand the difference between blasphemy and satire. And I think there is a line to be drawn there, not offending people just for the sake of it. I think if you're making a good point and there is some inconsistency or hypocrisy or some political power you're trying to get at, I think that's permissible. But I think everything, we should be free about everything, but I think we should, in a sense, regard ourselves as being responsible when it comes to people's beliefs.
The reason why I'm very proud to work for a paper like The Guardian is because I do control myself. As I said earlier on, I don't attack people for what they are, I attack them for what they think. I don't attack people less powerful than me. There are many cartoonists around the world who do exactly the opposite of that. And I don't believe they're engaging in satire, because I don't think that's what satire is. I think it's about attacking people for their ethnicity or their sexuality or because they're poor.
I'll tell you about a bit of context that I feel very strongly about. Is this country has, for many years, regardless who lives here, has fought for rights. And the context here, and why we're here, in the context of The Guardian, is that actually we believe in freedom and freedom of expression. So it's not just concern about minorities or majorities, it is about something we hold very, very dear and is important for all our happiness and our condition in this country as free people. So let's not, in all this, forget that it's about freedom of expression, however much we dislike what's being said.
One of the ways in which we create that space to talk about difficult things is to talk about democracy about what democracy is. And freedom of speech is just one part of democracy. For me, another part of democracy is an ability to defend all members of a society, all citizens, protecting and defending and caring for a minority as well as a majority, and cultivating an inclusive sense of nationhood. And for me, democracy is most literally about voting, right? It's about creating a nation where people care enough about a nation to vote. And so that's what I think we should do, right? Because they're us, not them.
I'm all for constructive debates and so, but sometimes these guys draw something that is absolutely necessary and fundamental and is offensive and nails power.
And also, we're not engaged in constructive debates. It's not what we do. You don't have just constructive debates by doing stupid cartoons of the Prime Minister with a big nose. That's not a constructive debate. That is straightforward mockery. That is an essential, if foul-mouthed, part of the political process. And we've been here for a long time doing this. That's what they were doing in Charlie Hebdo. They weren't engaged. I mean, what they were doing, they were provoking, they were taunting, they were behaving like schoolyard bullies. This is what we do. But it's a part of the freedom of expression. That's the point.
Steve, when you did your cartoon today, which I thought was brilliant, which is the murderers dressed up as sort of both in sort of death suits and Mickey Mouse suits and saying, why are the fuckers still laughing at us? Talk us through that.
The cartoon, I suppose, was saying was that it's trying to impose terror. It's trying to fright deliberately. That's dressing in black, the sinister, well, in this case, not beheadings, but the same thing, just shooting down in cold blood, coolly, calmly, in broad daylight. It's designed to try and laugh at it. Now, of course, it was no time for laughter. There's no laughs in it. It's not really a funny cartoon at all. So I gave them comic attributes, i.e. the Halloween skeleton suit and the big feet and Mickey Mouse ears, which is probably a gratuitous insult to Mickey Mouse, but we'll pass over that. And bunged it off and hope it worked, as usual. For some people it didn't. I was reading the lines underneath. But that's the job. That's what we have to do. And so this sense of this is, I feel a sort of profound sorrow. I've done another one for tomorrow because, of course, that was yesterday. I had to do that. And hopefully it works. I don't know. I'll see it tomorrow. You think, oh God, tasteless crap. Might make you wince, but then that's partly the name of the game. That's one of the things we do as, if you say, illustrating events, is we're playing with imagery. We are using it. We are juggling it. It's almost like dealing with explosives sometimes, and we know damn well it is.